how do the companies and IMOs and MLMs out there screw you on commission? Because here's the thing. You're coming into this business, you really know nothing about it except what the person who brought you in told you. There's usually a lot more information out there that you just won't know until you experience it, or if you're lucky enough to stumble across what it is that we do and learn from the experiences of somebody who likes to show the whole thing, not just a little bit of it. So you got to be wary of what goes on, because sometimes the things that are presented to you are something entirely different. What I would propose to you is that if things aren't transparent, and what you learned today maybe is in contrast to what you were told, and you find out what I've said is true, you need to start questioning the entirety of the relationship. Generally speaking, if you start a relationship with a lie, it doesn't get better. It usually gets worse. And especially when we're talking about business, it should be just like a marriage: transparent, honest, straightforward, no secrets. You want to be honest with your partner in business as well as love, right? So a couple of things here to get you aware, to make sure that you have and are empowered with the knowledge to make a decision. Number one, there are carriers that will do what I call window dressing, not carriers, excuse me, IMOs, MLMs specifically, where they take this idea of commission and then spin it on top of its head. So they do a percentage of a percentage. and the agency that does this, they've been around forever. If I mention them, you'd know who it is. I just can't imagine. They just love to think of new ways to screw agents. That's just how they live. It's how they roll. And you wouldn't know it because they're such nice people on the outside. But again, you start seeing what they actually do. It's pathetic. Okay, so what do? So they'll say things like, you're on 100% contract, but you're at the 70% level. Or they'll do something like, you're at a 90% contract, but your contracts pay you at a 40%. So what happens is that you get paid 90% of 40%. And the reason they did this is because in the past 5 years, the one thing I can say for sure is there's been a good momentum to get agents paid more of what they should be paid, and to unencumber themselves from the MLM push of lowering commissions substantially. So what these MLMs have done, some of them, is they show a high percentage commission, but then it's a percentage of a lower percentage. So it actually, you get paid even lower percentage. So if I'm at a 90% contract, or if I'm at a 90% level of a 50% contract, what's 90% of 50? 45. It's even worse than it sounds. But they don't explain this to you. They just sound excited. Hey, you're at a 90% contract. You're almost at the highest contract we can get you. But because, frankly, a lot of people just don't do the math and don't realize comparably what else is out there, they get really screwed. So you got to be very, very careful when it comes to how the structure is made. There's another IMO, very common one that's out there. You see them everywhere out in social media. They're all over the place, very large recruiters. They say you're at an XYZ 100% contract. That's what they call it. They actually give it a number name. But then when you look at the comp grid, the only commissions that are actually at 100, let's say in this case, are the most overpriced, hardest to use carriers. And every carrier you'd actually use to help your clients get a good value of coverage pays about 20 to 40% less. So you're really at 60 to 80% contracts instead of a 100% contract. So again, this is stuff that recruiters use to play on your ignorance. Look, not all carriers pay the same commissions. That's certainly how it is with me. But like when we recruit people, we say, hey, here's your comp grid. Look at all the carriers and what you're going to get paid. So it's completely transparent. I'm not saying, hey, man, you're at the highest level. No, straight up is the way to roll. And the way I look at it is, if you got to play these games on commission, what other games are going to play with you? Usually it ain't the good kind.